Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS22 Let's Map video. In this video I'll work on my American map Marigold Farm, which is still very far at the beginning, so we just worked a few hours on this map and it's very far from being finished. In the last part we started to build a farm here. This is not yet finished, nothing is finished on this map, but yeah, I thought I built the farm that we get a feeling for, okay, here we have maybe the main farm and it could look like that, and so on and so forth. And in the meantime I worked on the background mountains. I already spoke about what I'm planning with the background mountains, and now I did what I told you about, and I show you, and then I thought maybe you would be interested to see how I do it, and that's what we will do. We will create another far background mountain. So let's fly up a little bit. Here you see the difference. I changed the colors of the forest area to match more those forests, and later we will have trees in the near background area, but not in the very far background area. And before we didn't have a very far background area. Now we have some very far mountains here. Here another one. And so that the world doesn't end with this low mountains, but we get an impression, oh, it's very interesting in the far background. And here I had made some of those, only 3 until now, and I think we could use some more. So maybe here, maybe a line that yeah, we have really background all over the place somehow, because when you sit here, yeah, maybe you enjoy to watch that you have mountains in the background. Okay, and now we go up. Oh, and I modified the terrain of this background area, this nearer one, that we have a depression here for the rivers. It came out a little bit wider than I planned, but I thought, why not making the river really wide, at least in some parts? And so here it's a little bit narrower, and here it's even wider, and why not? And here the same. And when you are down here, oh, and here we have something of the terrain looking up. We can change this. So if you are here, this looks like, okay, the river goes there and then we can't see where it disappears. That's what I wanted to accomplish. If you are here, yeah, you get a similar effect. And here, I think here I will have trees, that it looks more interesting, and maybe I can even do some terrain paint. I don't know yet. And maybe I put some faraway houses here, something like that. And this has to be changed. This is easy. So this is 10 meters. Yeah, I think this is okay. Just like that. Now it's gone. So here is the end of the real map, and this is the area of the background mesh. So this I can't modify here in the Giants editor. I could put houses there to simulate, okay, in the far distance we have another farm, something like that. But I can't push up and down and so, because this is an object like a house. But here I can sculpt it and color it and all in this Giants editor. So those are totally different areas of the map. And you can't go there as a player. Yeah, and maybe I even go further up to show you the principle, what I did. Here you can see this is the map. And then I have another square around this, and this square has a hole in the middle because we don't need it there. And so this is a square with a hole in the middle. And this shape resembles the shape of the map, because I constructed them in the same workflow. It's not perfect at all, so when you come closer here, you see some holes and so, but usually you will never see this. You can only go up to here, and then there will be some trees as well, and it will look like, okay, yeah, there the world goes on and on. And here we will make more mountains. And I will take care that you will never see a thing like that standing out such a corner when you are playing on the map, either standing on the floor or driving with your tractor, because when you drive with your tractor in the outside view, then you are higher up. So this shouldn't be visible. Yeah, and first I thought maybe this is enough, but for this kind of landscape I decided no, this here isn't enough for the backgrounds. I need more mountains in the far background. And then I made a different kind of background which is just one mountain. And the advantage of this mountain is from this direction it looks like that, and I can turn it and then it looks different, and I can turn it and it looks different. And so from every angle it looks different, and therefore this can be used multiple times, the same shape and the same texture, and it always looks a little bit different. I even can make it bigger and smaller, so this is bigger than this, and therefore it looks even more different. But when I want to have mountains all around, I think it's a good idea to have two different ones that are really different, and those are all the same, here and there and there. And as you can see here, the texture is rather crisp, so not perfectly crisp. It's still background and you can only see it from far away, but it's rather crisp. And this is less crisp. I thought you see it from very far away, so there is no need to spend a lot of megabytes on a very crisp background. Yeah, and we will make one of those now. So first I save. Don't like to save. You should like to save. Okay, now it's saving. And this is a multi-step process somehow. I have a program that is called World Machine. And you can get a free demo version and you can make small mountains like this with not such, I think with only 500 pixels by 500 pixels if you want to have the export of the texture. And so it is a little bit limited, but you can use it for free. And I bought it because I wanted to have the full fun, because I really like this for all my background textures, and sometimes even for the first terrain of the actual map, and later I mold it and sculpt it to my liking, to have more place for fields and such and so forth. And it's a really interesting program, but you have to learn how to use it. So this is that mountain here that I put on my map, and now I make a save as, and so American Map Farm 2, because this is the second one. And here I always have the view of it, what is the result, and here I have a bunch of nodes. Maybe you already know such nodes from there in Blender, and if you work in Unreal Engine 5, and so a lot of programs use this kind of nodes, and this program uses it too. And here everything is about the creating of the terrain. And here I have a shape, and here I told the program, oh, I want to have an elevation in the center, and therefore I have this shape. And then I go back here, and this is advanced Perlin. This is the magic somehow, and we only get a tiny little window, and we can say whether this is the basic style or whether it is rich. And now we have a totally different mountain. We only, oh, this is not so bad. But the question is, do I want a ridged mountain? It looks interesting. Or do I want to have a billowy? This is rather similar to the one we had. Then we could have smooth ridged. Okay. It's not so bad as well. Maybe this is better than ridged. Or smooth billowy. Or sharp ridged. And flat middle. Okay, this is not flat, but no problem. And this is terraced. I don't see the terrace effect, but okay, they call it like that. And then we have Stefan's choice number 1. Yes, it's a steep little mountain. Okay, I think I go for smooth ridged. No, this is sharp ridged. Yeah, this is much better. And then when you see it from here, it looks so different than from here or from here and so. And I can change other things as well. And now maybe I should save again. Can I save with this window open? No, it doesn't change. Save. I close it and then I save. Come on. Why don't it save? Save. Save word. So now, we can change the feature scale. Now we have a bigger mountain, which is not such a bad idea. Or we can have smaller mountains like this. I think we had 3.5. Okay. And we can change the persistence. This is more like that, or more like that, which is unusable, I would say. We had 0.48. 0.48. No, 5. And maybe I even change to 0.4 to have it a little bit less steep and pikey. Yeah, I think this is better for the area of mountains I have in mind. The other one was too alpine. And then we can change the seat. This is just a random number. We have 20,000 or 2,000. 20,000. So I just change it to 30,000 and then we will have a look what does change. So now it looks totally different. But when we go back to 20,000, we get our old model again. And so you can have all the settings and then just change the seat and you get a number of different mountains. So maybe now you ask, why don't I make 10 different mountains? That is because each mountain has its own mesh, and that takes away some performance, not so much, but some, and each mountain has its own texture that costs slots on consoles and takes megabytes of space to save, and therefore I take only 2 of those and turn them around. And here we can have the steepness. Now it's flat. I think it was 0.6. Okay, and the middle elevation. Oh, how much was it? Ooh. I forgot. Was it 1.2? I think this looks similar to before. Yeah, it's always changing. So this is somehow the main magic, the advanced Perlin. There are different kinds of this magical modifier thingy. Yeah, but I like to use this Perlin stuff. And then there are additional things like curves, and you could change the slope somehow. So I won't change to too much now because I like it how it is. And you can work on the erosion. And maybe here I changed something. You can define the rock hardness and the sediment carry amount and the erosion time intensifier and the duration. Now it's 63, so we have to keep this in mind. In the beginning, the erosion was not so existing. And when we have a lot of years, so those are not years, those are millennia, or I don't know, a long time, it gets smaller and smaller. And so we had 63 because I liked it like that. And there are still advanced settings. And here you could add a river inside. That's what I made with this first layer that is a square with a hole inside. I defined the river areas. And there are a lot of other things that you can use. And here, usually they offer a texture, a standard basic texture thingy, where they decide how to color it somehow. But I think this is only available in the paid version. I want to have more natural looking textures, and I took textures that are textures for modeling, for 3D modeling, and so for the rock and the snow. Once I had even higher mountains in an alpine setting with snow on top, but now here I don't want to have snow, and for the grass and for the trees. And I have files that let's see, no, those are the results. Where are the files? I have them here. So I can define how they look, and I changed the color. First I had this very strong, intense grass for the grass area, and then I thought, no, that doesn't match the color of the map, and therefore I changed the color, and then I told this program to use the new texture. And this is the result. We will work on this a little bit later. And I can tell the map everything that is above this height should be rock. Where did I do this? Select height, rock, and yeah, that's it. So I could say only rock is higher. Then I put it higher, or only rock is lower. And I had 17, as I remember. And I can modify with the slope. So when it's very steep, the rock is there even in the lower areas. This is the slope definition. And I can say everything that is above 55 degrees, this will be rock, because no grass and no trees are growing there. And yeah, and if I have an area where which is very high, not like that, but more alpine, where the mountain stops growing, they are more in the lower area, the trees stop growing, the forests. And in the higher area we only have meadows, then I can switch this around. But here it was more like in the lower area we have grass or fields, but in this special case grass, and in the higher area we have mountains. So here are the mountains, and from here on we have the grass. And so I have all this construction, and I can change this to my liking. And here this is the object that creates this preview. And when I'm happy with how it looks, I can define the export thingies, and I could export this as a height map, but a map with this shape wouldn't work. So I only want to have it as a background mountain. Then I choose the mesh output and the material output that we get a texture. And this will take some time, so I will pause the recording, but I show you what I do. So here I say American map farm 2, and it saves as an object file, wavefront object, write to disk, and now it wants to think about all the objects. So it's rather fast, but with the material output, the texture output, it's the same. And therefore I just stop recording, and we see each other again when this is done. So now it's exported and saved, and now first we take care of this little image. No, it's not so little. This yeah, this is a good place to go. So where is the new one? This is the new one. So, and I open it in PaintNet. I do a lot of this texture stuff in PaintNet. And this texture size is 4K now. And I bring it down to 1K because it's a background mountain, and it doesn't need to be such a big texture. Okay, and now I save it as a DDS file in the hopefully right what is this? Sometimes I'm losing words, the English words, but sometimes even German words that I know them. Directory. I think the directory is the so I have the background mountain far 01 American map. I call it background mountain because everything is American map here, but 02 diffuse point DDS. Okay, and now I save it. This is okay. And now I go to Blender, make it big for you, and I make a new file. Oh, I didn't save it. Oh, this is very bad. But now I can save it. Far 1. So this is saving the old mountain. I forgot to save the Blender file and only save the... Does it switch to the new one? No. Okay, now we import the OBJ file from Wavefront from this world machine. This is here, and it's this one. And it looks rather funny. It's standing up. And first I tell it set orange geometry to origin. Okay, and now I turn it Rx 090 degree. Okay, and now I make it smooth. Yes, now it looks much better. And I bring it up a little bit. This is not necessary, but it gives me a better feeling. And I add a material and I give it a name. This is background far 02. And I search for the file we just made. Okay. Do we have to wait? Or do I need to click again? I did need to click again. So this is not the right, here we are. Okay, this is the right one. And then I click here. And I take away the specular and add more roughness. This is not necessary, but I like to get a feeling when I see it here, and then it's better if it's not too glossy. So now I could use it like that, but sometimes those edges that are showing up, they are not so easy if I want to combine the mountains, and therefore I bring the whole area here to one level, and so I have to put it like that, and then no, in the edit mode, yes, like this and like this, very well, and I just mark all the edges. So this is no official way to do such a thing. This is just how I do it, because I thought I like to do it like that. And now I press SZ0, and now I have them all on one level. Okay, and now I can go with the GZ, and maybe let's see, I make this magnet, and then GZ, and the influence radius much smaller, maybe like that. Then those vertices take other vertices that are close to them with them. So it's not only the vertices are the points somehow that are orange I pull down, but in the neighborhood too. So maybe like that. And here is a hole, but I think this is no problem. Okay, here we have another hole, but those won't be a problem for those distant mountains. Now I save it this time, and then I export it, because this is already done what I have to do in Blender. For the other one, the bigger one with the hole inside the middle, I have to make it bigger and make the hole inside the center for the actual map. So there is some more work to do. And now I export it as, yeah, the name is good, selected objects, and geometry face for the smoothing. That looks best, I think. Okay, export it, save again. Now we can close the blender. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. And now we can import the mountain to our map. So file import. And maybe you ask, why don't I just take the object file from the world machine? Because the Giants editor only can import E3D files, so the Giants format, and FBX, no object file. But it can export object files. So, but therefore I need this this workaround in Blender. Here we have it. And importing always takes a while. Oh, that went rather fast. And first I make freeze transformation, that we have a 1 here. And you don't see anything because it's too small. It's a very, very, very tiny object. We could jump there, here. So this won't help to make our map more beautiful. So we go further away because it grows enormously in a very short time. 1,000 and 1,000, and I try with 500. Oh, maybe 750. Yeah, I think this is okay. And then the clip distance could be 10 kilometers. Okay. And I make freeze transformation again. And the shape should have distance blending. And don't worry, this will look different. Because we have this texture, maybe you remember. It is at maps, map OS, textures, the second one. Yes. And now we have to tell it again, it shouldn't be glossy and it shouldn't be metallic. And here we have our new mountain. And we can vary in size. But first I push it to this background mountain area, and then we place it, and maybe we will even need to increase it because it seems a little bit small. Yeah, it's just tiny. So we just double it in size to better. So now I see whether it's behaving well. Yeah, the size is okay for this one. And here we can see the, maybe I push it a little bit more down. Yeah, a little bit more down, and then I make it higher so that it merges with those other trees somehow. So then I make it maybe 3 in height and maybe even 3 in this dimension. Yes. Yes. Look how nice it looks. And then we can imagine here is a valley. I don't want to make a bazillion of these mountains. I could do, but they all take a little bit of performance. They don't have much polygons, but in the end every polygon is one polygon too much somehow. And this map should run well on old consoles as well, which is more and more difficult, I have the feeling. So now I just turn it, and it looks like a different mountain. Maybe I'll push it a little bit more in this direction. Yeah, and here we need one as well. And I must admit, I love this playing around with those distant mountains. This is only a very tiny part of the work with the map. Here we have, okay, here we see this opening. So then maybe I keep on turning it and even make this a little bit bigger, because we leveled in height and in one direction, and now I made the other one bigger. We go a little bit up. So now this mountain has to merge with this. This will be an area where it will be visible. Oh, now this is rather okay. But here, so I have to work on the shape of the water. Now it's just rectangles for the moment here. Several rectangles, but later I want to make one river shape somehow. Here, let's see. Maybe we can pull it a little bit to us. Yeah. It would be okay if the river nearly disappears. So maybe if I turn it, no, come on. Yes, like this. And then it disappears in the distance, the river. So you will never stand here, but you would stand here, and you could get a glimpse, and then you could stand here, because I want to make this a recreational area. I will have trees on this, but not a totally overcrowded, only some trees and some barbecue stuff, and so from here it should look rather okay. And I think if I make some trees here and maybe even there, it could look okay. But I will think whether I make this smaller, then the texture gets better relatively. Maybe even with freeze transformation. Yeah, a little bit better it's now. So this is still open for debate. But here I could leave it open with the idea the river goes in this direction, and we can imagine that the river is there. Yeah, and I want to make boats on this river. Some boats coming from there, going the whole way, and some, I think it's not good for really big boats. Maybe, I hope I would find medium-sized boats and some smaller boats that only go here and there for something like fishing or such. So now we take maybe this one. Okay, and copy it over there, because this is still so empty. And then I would need to scale this up at least 1.5. Let's see how it looks from here. No, you will never be here, but you will be here. Okay, I think I like it how it looks. And then we need one here. And one in the top mountain area. At least one. So, yeah, now we see it from a different angle again. Maybe this can be best viewed from here. Or if you are here. So to get the most critical view somehow. I think this is nice. I love it more and more. Did I tell you that I'm a total fan of mountain areas and I love to go hiking and so? Yeah, maybe that's why I love it so much to work on those mountain areas. So, and now I think it should be even higher because it's behind those, and then we can scale it up a little bit. Let's make this 1.5 and this 2. And as it is so far away, I don't make a freeze transformation, because freeze transformation always produces a new object. And that is more, let's say, costly for the performance, but it shouldn't be so high. Maybe 1.52. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, and it's a little bit misty over there. So the farther away an object is, the more mist we get, and this is absolutely good, I would say, because then it looks more natural. And now we get it from the back side. And does it look different enough? Maybe a little bit turning, that it's not the 180-degree backside, but more, still we have this whoosh, this strong slope. So turning it again a little bit, or like so, then this slope here is not so obvious. It is still obvious, but it's a slightly different angle. And mountains are allowed to have slopes. I think like that it doesn't look like this. Yeah, and it's just existing in the far back as a hint. I could pull it a little bit closer, I think. So let's see. Yes. Here we have a terrible hole. What to do? I try to I make this a little bit wider in this direction. This is the Y scale, and we'll have a look whether it works, but maybe not, because this has only no, I rather make this even wider, so it's like this, and then I take this, and this is already wider in this direction. I just make it even more, because this simulates several mountains. Yeah, it's better now. We still have gap here, and maybe I fill this gap with one of those. I think some gaps are totally okay. Oh, no. So it's better to work with numbers. I scale it up a little bit. And I turn it. Yeah, no, here we have the hole. But I could push this a little bit more to this and this. But I think it's natural that we have there are not only mountains, but there are valleys as well. And this valley is intentional. Yeah, I think I like it like that. It has improved a lot, I would say. Okay. Yeah, so even with my preparation, this still took 1 hour, but I think it's worth it. And so for me, my imagination can wander, can go roaming and thinking, oh, what is there? Where could I go hiking and enjoy the forest and whatsoever? And yeah, the dreaming process is activated for me, and that's what I like. And I like the Erlengrad Mountains so much because they're really beautiful, but to see them on every map, or not every map, I think the most American maps, they don't have the Erlengrad Mountains, but in the German maps we see them so often. and then after a while you can't see them anymore. And for this world machine is so wonderful, because you can build your own dream landscape, and that fits to the idea of your map landscape where you want to play on. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with this. So now my insight is ready to begin with the small village in the next part. Yeah, before the village I had to do this mountain work, and now I'm really happy with it. Okay. Yeah, I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.